You know why we're here. It's time for Boost, Booze, and Barbecue.
It's better every time.
Gets better every time, you think?
I think so. Yeah, I played it in the truck on the way here.
I love that. I love that, man. And thank you guys for joining in. We are live on the Facebook live stream. You are going to be able to hear us on Spreaker.com over at the Thomas Creek Digital Media radio station here in a couple hours or a couple days, depending on when I get around to it, you guys. Great show for you today. We have got Devin Schultz from Armored Lighting and a whole host of other businesses that we're not going to talk about today because they're not related to automotive stuff. And I'm looking forward to this, man. You're quite the entrepreneur. You're still 20, right?
Yep, I am 20 years old and started a permanent entrepreneur journey about 2 years ago.
Coy, how much does that piss you off?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
No, when he first started talking about this, there was a small moment where he's like, "Do you want in on this?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I got a full-time job. I can't do it." So...
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be the guy that was like, yeah, no, Sam from Sam's Choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he offered me in.
Or Face from Facebook.
Yeah. No, I could.
Or whatever the guy's name was. I don't know.
Could have been part owner of Walmart right now.
And we're going to get into all of that, by the way. You have an amazing product. People seem to love it. Your sales are killer, and the stuff that people are doing with it is killer. But I want to let you guys know right off the bat, we've got Coy here, obviously, Devin, producer Nick. You're seeing an absence. Jake, the intern, is not here today.
Dude, are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. So, but
dude, I talked to his mom last week, and she was certain he would be here.
Well, he showed up at the studio yesterday, actually, to hash some stuff out. He brought his mini truck over. So I don't know if you knew this, but
you said he was into mini trucks, but he has a running mini truck, or he's into mini trucks?
Well, it was running. I'm getting to that. So he has this hard body, like a. I think he said it's a 93 or a Nissan? 92. Yeah, Nissan hard body truck with the single cam KA in it, right? Mm-hmm. Lord only knows how many motors he's had in that thing. He says that motor has 500 and some odd thousand miles on it. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but hey, he's a good guy. He says that that's what it is, and so I'll believe him. He came by with the truck. He'd had some trouble, a little bit of overheating and stuff like that, and so, I just said, hey, I'm a car guy. We got tools here. I got a shop out in the back, let's go ahead and just pop the hood, see what's going on. I figured maybe he had a heater hose that was leaking or something like that. And so he's got his truck running, and we're both under the hood looking at it, and he's a real tall guy, right? And so he's leaning over the motor to check the hoses in the back. And I think he might have a blown head gasket in that truck, and I think it's pressurizing the system because right as he leaned forward, the radiator cap failed, and it just shot 230 degree water just all over the front. I think the radiator cap actually came off and hit him in the crotchal region with quite a bit of force. He was in a lot of pain.
Wow.
We actually had to have his truck towed. Instead of getting in the tow truck, he just laid on the back. He could not get in the truck.
He laid in the back of his truck that was being towed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's I'm surprised that's next level where you're like, I'm so bad, I'm going to lay in the back of a vehicle that's being towed.
Well, I mean, the tow truck driver asked about it. He asked what that noise was, and I told him it was a wheel bearing that was going bad, but actually it was Jake laying in the back of his truck going,
So, and that's the last we've seen of him. He say,
well, it was just yesterday, bro.
Yeah, but
you got to cut him a little slack.
I've cut him so much slack. He needs to show up, even if it's just moral support. I don't know. Roll his hospital bed right up in this joint. At a certain point, we got to tell the college that they can't give him a credit for this.
Well, he is still doing some social media stuff for us.
Yes, but we'll talk about it off air, but you can't be interning in a podcast studio and not do any studio work. Everybody knows how to do social media stuff.
Whoops.
Right?
Here. All right, Coy. Fine.
Call me. Maybe I'm going to turn to Grandpa Coy here, but I feel like there's work to be done.
You're not Grandpa Coy. You're just old-fashioned. I got you.
Old-fashioned. I'm Republican Coy right now.
Earn your keep.
Well, being honest, like he's not doing a lot.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's true. Maybe he just, you know what? Maybe it was all an elaborate ruse so that he could have Super Bowl Sunday off. We don't know.
Oh, yeah. How convenient.
By the way, I have a quick little snippet that I grabbed for you guys. It's Shakira during the Super Bowl, and it was something that I thought you guys might find interesting. Well, that's not, but it's close. It's real close.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it looked like.
Just so people not on live stream, we're seeing Patrick the Starfish from SpongeBob screaming while he's piloting the Dutch, what is that ship called?
The Flying Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman, yeah.
That is such a good episode, by the way. I can't believe how
the best.
I can't believe how funny that episode is.
That episode and the episode where they sell chocolate.
Yeah.
Some of the best episodes.
Hey, Coy.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Chocolate. 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 Okay, we're getting way off. We're getting way off here. Anyways, yeah, one of the better episodes. So anybody that wants to check that out, you got to run over to YouTube right now. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that halftime show, everybody is polarized online right now. They're saying it was amazing, it was the best ever, or they're saying, wow, that was super boring. The lip sync was obvious, but I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
We all know that's what's happening at this point. Like, it's not a surprise.
To me, it was one of the worst halftime shows ever.
You think so?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Any specifics that you didn't like?
I mean, it kind of like reminded me of almost like a strip club. I mean, like there was a lot of booty shaking. I mean, I don't know what was up with that. Like, this is the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I feel that you got a 50-year-old and a 43-year-old up there.
That is true.
They're still performers, though. I mean, there was that guy that was dressed like a Hershey Kiss.
Check it out.
Poor you. Poor Coy.
I'm not going to lie. People will hate me for this. I had no idea it was a Super Bowl today till Devin came in and asked me about this. I was doing airplane stuff. Like I was flying. Well, I mean, I was riding in a flying airplane, hanging out at a hangar, having the time of my life all day, like way better than any Super Bowl party could be.
Well, I think we're going to have to hear more about that.
It was awesome. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Well, what I thought was pretty cool during the Super Bowl commercials, they had a ad campaign for Donald Trump. That was actually like, I've never seen a president to have like a campaign in the Super Bowl. That was super cool.
I was very surprised by that as well.
I'm surprised by that as well because it seems like he already owns that demographic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Shouldn't you put your ad in a different demographic?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you can say a lot of things, and this is not a political podcast, but I think one of the only things that pretty much everyone can agree with is he is a very unique president. We've definitely not had one like this before.
Yeah, no, he's a good one.
That's a fair statement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'm waiting here with bated breath. How'd you end up in an airplane today?
So a friend of mine, his name's Richard. He's into all kinds of stuff. He's a ham radio guy, and he's had his pilot's license for quite a while. He actually got married and then left the wedding in an airplane, but it's always been rental stuff. And a couple months ago, he started airplane shopping and ended up buying kind of an airplane that an older gentleman had, quit flying it because he wasn't able to fly it, and then it sat for a while. Excuse me. But it had been really well taken care of up till the point where it wasn't flown then for quite a few years.
Oh, and that's kind of death for those, isn't it?
It's not. Well, I mean, it was indoors. Out. I guess I've learned a lot about airplane today. It's death for an airplane is leaving it outdoors.
I see.
Small airplanes. You want to park that thing outside, then give it a few years and it's ruined.
Got it.
And yeah, it can be really hard on him not to be flown, but he did a lot of research on it, and he did some work on it before he bought it, made sure certain stuff worked, and went ahead and bought it and then put some more money into it and got it flying. And I've been meaning to go out and see it. And today he's like, Luke, come out to my hangar and check this airplane out. And I was like, okay, like twist my arm. I'm going to go check out an airplane.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's a really, I shouldn't say, kind of a unique airplane. It's I believe a Beechcraft Bonanza V-tail. So, I mean, the V-tail part of it, it's cool looking.
That's way over my head. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds
instead
cool.
of a regular tail, I mean, it's the back of the plane. You got the V-tail.
Cool.
It looks really cool. It's like a 4-seater and luggage. When I say 4-seater, it is a 4-seater of like 1960s adults, not 2020 guys like me.
Right.
But yeah, we kind of waited. It was kind of nasty, raining, and then kind of let some little squall pass over, and we popped the hangar open. He went through a pre-checklist and has this little motorized dolly and pulled the plane out, and it was just this whole cool situation. And fired that thing up, took off, flew around for a half hour, brought her back. It's got retractable landing gear. Like, it's a cool little plane.
That's pretty cool.
It's a neat plane, and it's a classic kind of white and red with gold wingtip. That classic Bonanza livery. Yeah, it was awesome.
That is awesome.
And then we're doing like this man cave hangout, but in an airplane hangar, which there's not a lot of. We're just hanging out. He's got a TV in there and like Wi-Fi and stuff, and we're watching like the Reno Air Races, which I'd never heard of till that point, but it turns out it's basically like NASCAR with airplanes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it sounds wildly dangerous. And I'm not talking about that Red Bull like barrel racing thing. No, they set up this oval shaped pylon, and then they fire up like 9 planes and they race around in a circle.
Huh.
It's I don't understand how it's legal. And as far as I know, that's the only place where that's done. So I don't know where you practice this at. And they were doing it in jets and stuff. Like everything from what looked like just stocked pleasure craft to like used like T-38 military jet like trainer planes. And then Honda had a jet, like a Learjet they were doing it in, just to like try and get people to buy the Honda Learjet.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, that's affordable. Listen, as you've learned, Devin, you just have like a social media influencer buy one of your planes, and then the people just flood to it. You know, you're selling it on Amazon. You start selling like 8 a day because they want it now that they've seen, you know, their favorite YouTube sport pilot behind the yoke.
Yeah, when they see that, it's just like mind blowing. I mean, they're on it. They don't care. They just put the money out there. They'll buy it.
Exactly.
That's actually that you say that. I found out that Honda made their own Learjet. It's kind of hideous, and no one's buying it, so they're like pushing it really hard. Like, please buy our plane.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the Cybertruck.
Well, no, because like a lot of people like the Cybertruck, but this plane, like, I think a lot of airplane guys don't really take Honda seriously as an airplane. Like, if you're buying a Learjet, you want it to say Gulfstream, not Honda on the side. Like, I think there's also, if you have enough money to buy a Learjet, you know, you park a Bentley. You don't want to get out of your Bentley and into a Honda.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And there are a lot of people that say the Cybertruck is ugly, but there are a lot of people see it's polarizing in that way. You know, there's really nobody looking at the Mitsubishi Expo from the 90s and going, yeah, I like it. No, I don't like it, and fighting over it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like comparing a Learjet to the Honda Jet is the same as comparing the Cybertruck to, what was that Renault Multiplace or whatever? It had like the double fascia.
Like a Pontiac Aztec.
Yes, exactly, the Pontiac Aztec. Although, it would be kind of fun to see a Pontiac Aztec on like 24-inch tires, slammed, and rocking some of your light bars.
You could definitely probably go to the Mississippi and find that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I've never driven an Aztec, but I heard somebody the other day say that they were actually super awesome vehicles. Like, they were wildly convenient, comfortable, and pretty good vehicles, just ugly, and everyone hated them so much that then they died.
You know, I've heard something similar about the PT Cruiser, same thing. But they're not inherently a good vehicle, but they really weren't that bad to drive. Like, lots of visibility, not a bad car to like daily. It's just that they're, you know, an early 2000s Chrysler, and so they fall apart.
Did you ever drive an SRT4 PT Cruiser?
Once. Unfortunately, it was an automatic.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were so awesome. They were like, they weren't necessarily fast, but it was like you could hit a corner. Say it was like a 45 or 35 mile an hour rated corner, and you could downshift and start like burnout understeering in the middle of it, but on purpose. That were like such just beastie hogs.
We've been there. We've all on purpose understeer burnout around a corner in a front wheel drive car. All of us.
Oh yeah.
It's a kind of sad vehicle, but it was super fun to drive.
And by the way, if you're listening out there and you're thinking to yourself, my car can't do that, it's time to run out and get yourself some Space Saver spare tires, the little teeny tiny donuts, put 2 of those on the front, and then just start.
Actually, what I would do is, go to McDonald's and get one of the trays, and you put those in the back tires, roll over them, pull the e-brake. I've did that a lot. I've went through. McDonald's is missing a few trays.
I could not agree with you more, but I say do it in conjunction with those Space Saver spares. That way you get the smoky burning too.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to up your game a lot right now.
Let's do it.
So the McDonald's trays are cool, but the problem is you get maybe 45 seconds
Not
of
even.
sliding
You get
around.
like 20 seconds.
On a good day. Like if it's wet. You don't
and
really
then you
get
end up flat spotting your back. Yeah. We've done that before.
So... Yeah, last time I did it, I was actually in, I think it was like Oklahoma or somewhere. We were in a rental car, and it was like a Jetta. I think it was a Jetta TDI or something. Probably the rental company's listening now, but they didn't have a very good car anyhow. So
that's the one to do this with.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So to up your game on here, go and get I think it'd be like the 25-pound weights for like a barbell set. There's they got the metal ring and stuff in them. Grind out the metal ring on the inside on one side, so your tire will sit in the center of that. Lock those in there. They spark like crazy, and they'll last almost in like hours.
So you're saying doing it like midsummer out by like a hayfield,
I'm not saying when to do it. I'm not even saying you should do it. But if you want to like take that to the streets and go crazy sideways and be able to do it from one end of town to the other and back, use 25-pound like dumbbell weights.
That's awesome.
You just got to grind that middle piece out so that your tire will sit down in it good.
This is advice for life, man. Advice for life.
I need to write a book and then like just start issue like as soon as I see like a budding car guy, like he's 15, he seems into cars, and I'll just hand it to him, and he'll just be like, oh, I never thought of that. Perfect,
Why did this guy just hand me like a matted up conglomerate of paper that's written in crayon?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get it like printed legit.
No.
You
could start selling like drift starter packs on Amazon. Like that's totally what I would do.
So just like a massive vape mod.
Yeah,
a purple hoodie
with like a weight, like grinded out weight, depending on your.
And then a pair of jeans that across the butt says my girlfriend's jeans.
Oh, totally.
Wow. Okay.
And then one of those, a vape mod, but then also the like.
The jewels,
the weed jewel one,
yes.
The little one, so that you're like, I'm vaping, but I'm actually cool. Like I'm,
Yep.
That's like the Subaru owners, though.
Yeah.
I have mesothelioma.
I hurt my back in a drifting accident. Drift damage, bro, in my back.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna get further into the boost, you guys, but this is Boost Booze and Barbecue. So we have the booze of the day, which is the Marcotte Distilling. Show them the label, Coy. There you go. Marcotte Distilling Copper Moon, which is their barrel-aged Silver Moon, which is just their straight corn liquor that they make for the flavored moonshine. And you know why I picked this up, Coy? It's because I was at Marcotte Distilling yesterday. I delivered to them 40 pounds of smoked pulled pork. Yeah. And it was tasty, very tasty. It was not, you can go ahead and consider it subpar. I'll openly admit that because I didn't put as much spice into it. I thought, you know what, this is going out to people, just general public type people, so we're not going to spice it up too much. It's in Philomath. I think a lot of people are coming from Corvallis no offense to you guys, but I haven't met a lot of people that like spicy food. And by the way, that was reinforced when we were there. We had a couple of people that were like, this is spicy. And I was thinking, spicy from the brown sugar? But anyways, I digress. So I smoked it up. Obviously, my back and neck are still pretty messed up. And so I ended up using the Yoder on them. Mm-hmm. And it worked out okay. That's the first time I've done that quantity on that pellet grill. And I am not displeased with it.
Good. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't quite what you get out of the big wood-fired smoker. I will grant you that. But I think that something like this is viable. I'm starting to feel better and better about it. It's still not going to be the only smoker I ever use.
It's still not going to go to competitions.
No, it's not going to go to competitions for me. I don't feel like, for me, I'm getting the right flavor of the smoke off of the pellets. I'm sure other people have. There's lots of teams that use pellet grills. We competed against some people that were using the Traeger Timberlines. Yep. So I'm sure that there can be some preference there, but I find that my preference is still with the live fire wood.
I totally agree for competition, that live fire. And I mean, part of competition's display. I mean, it's always in front of audience.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so when you've got the fire rolling in front of them and you're stoking it with chunks of wood and stuff. Yeah. There's a little showmanship there.
And you're like running a steam locomotive. Yeah.
What's the coal for?
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, exactly.
More power.
That's right.
There's bandits.
It went incredibly well, though. People seem to really like. We did pulled pork tacos. Janelle over there made her own coleslaw, her own dressing for it and everything. And paired with that pork, it was just phenomenal. And people really seemed to like it. And that was my first time doing it with them. I was really excited to. And I'll tell you what, man, I could foresee myself doing that again. It was a good time. I enjoyed doing it.
So did you get to try anything else at Marco? It seems like every time you go there, you come back with something to tell me about.
Well,
it's something that's too far out. This is need to know eyes only situation. Do you get to try some of that?
I did. As a matter of fact,
talk about it.
Well, okay. So there's a couple that are really close to coming down the pipeline that I think you'll be intrigued by. They have a new sweet cream coming out, and they're very close. They call it their macchiato. It's a sweet coffee, sweet cream.
Yes. I'm really interested to try their root beer sweet cream.
Oh, yes. That's coming down the pipe. They also let me see a little bit of what they're doing, still in some testing, but they're making their own peanut butter whiskey.
What?
Yes, sir.
Did any go in your mouth?
Not yet, because it's not quite ready, but I definitely gave it a smell, and I'm liking the smell of it.
I got to get over there.
Which,
I really do.
By the way, leads us into the question of the day. Are you guys ready for this?
Jesse comes.
Maybe. So for me personally, and I know not a lot of people drink Jim Beam for the flavor, okay? I understand that. But I honestly want to know from anybody that's out there listening, when you drink Jim Beam, like when you actually sip on it and try to taste it, does it taste like peanut butter to you, just kind of a little bit on the back end? It has always tasted that way to me. Every single time I drink it, and I'm just like, man, it's got like this little artificial peanut butter flavor right on the back, just right in the back of my throat. And it's my personal theory that that's why we're starting to see some companies making peanut butter whiskey, and it's starting to gain in popularity.
I'm going to... No, you're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay, well, Coy's not winning a T-shirt, that's for sure. So that is the question of the week, you guys. Make sure you answer that. We will be picking a winner. I'm not doing it Wednesdays anymore. I want to give people a little bit more time. I think we're going to start doing it Fridays or Saturdays, okay?
Okay. I have an interesting theory on this Jim Beam. Could it possibly taste like peanut butter? Because you were on the verge of blacking out when you were drinking the Jim Beam?
No.
Because when I drink, whenever I've been like, ooh, I'll sip Jim Beam.
Actually, maybe.
Anybody that I've noticed that's sipping Jim Beam, that's like when you're like, oh, I'll just sip on a Steel Reserve. Like you are either so far down the pipeline, you need a sponsor and help, or you've been drinking, you started day drinking, and now it's 2:30 in the morning and you're sipping on Jim Beam. And you know, like when you get like a concussion, how you taste tinfoil?
Yes.
I'm thinking right before you black out, you taste peanut butter.
That's probably true, actually.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. How many times? Well, don't tell me how many times you black. Think about all the times that you fell over that edge where you now no longer remember the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last thing you tasted? Vomit doesn't count before that part.
That is the hard part. And this is my fault. I should have prefaced. This is not me like buying a bottle of Jim Beam. I would never do that to myself. This is people being like, hey, do you want some whiskey? And I'm like, yeah, great. And then I grab it and take a swig and I'm like, oh, Jim Beam. And I know it's Jim Beam because it has that peanut buttery flavor to me. I've never been wrong. Somebody hands me a whiskey. If it's got a peanut buttery finish in the back of my throat, I always just go, is this Jim Beam? And they're like, yeah, it's the only thing I drink, bro. It's great. It's awesome. And they're also the people that take it and just go, ah. There's no sipping it, tasting it. It's just the quicker I can get it down my gullet, the better.
Yeah, that's how I drink my Jim Beam.
Right. That's how everybody should drink their Jim Beam because it's not a good whiskey.
No, it's like if you have to cut off a finger.
Right. You're not going to savor it.
I need to get my finger off of my body. What is the fastest way to do this? And so when I'm drinking, I need to get this Jim Beam to my liver.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. It's going to be unpleasant. And I want to do it the fastest way possible.
And notice, Devin, without even talking about this in advance, Coy and I both motion to our pinkies because we know, like, we go deep in this. You know, if this was a real life situation, no, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, if I had to cut off a finger. No. We're going to go with this bad boy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if you notice, we'd always put our thumb out last.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because you can still hitchhike with no fingers. It almost changes nothing.
And as long as you've got these two, you can still shift.
If you have any other finger and you've still got a thumb,
talking about that, like,
I'm having coffee.
How do like people that like paraplegics, how do they get around? Like, that's pretty cool. How they can just do that, or somebody's born with like two fingers, or it's just pretty amazing.
Well, like, how you can still do math too. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now you're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, you know?
Totally.
It's amazing.
Gotcha.
Like even the person with like no arms, no legs, like that guy swimming, you ever seen that? Like he has no arms or legs and he actually swims. Like he just like, I don't know how he does it. That got off topic, but that was a...
You figure it out.
Yeah.
You know? You figure it out.
I'm guessing his dad threw him in the pool.
I think so. Kind of like the old, like John
Wayne?
Wayne?
Yeah, just
throws the kid into the...
I'm guessing it was one of those situations.
I'm guessing that his dad was a Jim Beam fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or maybe just a peanut butter fan.
This tastes like peanut butter. Get in the pool!
I have a Jim Beam story, not so much related to alcohol, but it's interesting. So, and I've been on a lifelong quest here that I've been burned by super hard, super many times. There was a chain restaurant that came out with a hamburger that had a Jim Beam barbecue sauce. It's actually a Red Robin's. I don't know if those are nationwide or not, but and this was 8 years ago. It was the best barbecue sauce I have ever had in my life, period. Then they stopped that promo, and I was like, I have to find this barbecue sauce. I've gone and found Jim Beam brand barbecue sauce. It is not even close to the same as the one they were putting on that hamburger. And every time I see Jim Beam barbecue sauce, I try it and I'm like, nope, that wasn't it. That's not it. That's not it.
That's so annoying when you find something good and you can't find it.
Yeah. So my whole life, every time I see Jim Beam barbecue sauce, I'm like, maybe this is the one. And I'll buy it and I'll be like, it's just bad barbecue sauce they're trying to sell.
I'll tell you what, man, doing the food show over on Pardon My Fork, it has taught me so much. And I'll tell you, I probably know exactly what's going on. Somebody stopped paying their co-packer to make that sauce, you know. The recipe is out there somewhere, but it's just not being made right now. Or recipe changes happened, you know. What this reminds me of is that teriyaki sauce that you loved. And then I found out that it was available through either Cisco or Food Services of America. And I was able to order you up. I think I had to buy it by the case, didn't I?
By the gallon.
By the gallon.
It was by the gallon. I had to buy a gallon of it.
Yeah. But by God, we used it.
No, that was kind of a batch pad we had then. It was just this delicious finger dipping teriyaki sauce, and we burned through that.
I don't even think it lasted that long for being a gallon.
No.
I think I need to get into the barbecue maybe scenario a little more. Sounds kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had some deviled eggs, speaking of.
Yeah, that
Coy and still doing her deviled egg thing.
That was amazing. Like, that was the first. I've just had regular deviled eggs, but, I mean, that was where, like, I think they had, like, guacamole. They had some, like, beef in there or something.
There was some...
it's actually ground buffalo.
Yeah, pork and buffalo. So I guess we don't ever talk about this on the show, but before 99% of the shows, Andy's wife, Coy and makes like a gourmet deviled egg platter for me and Andy, and then usually after we'll eat some. By some, I mean I eat like 12.
You eat one of the platters.
I eat one platter, and then we do our show, and we come back, and then I eat most of the next platter, and we talk about like what the next one could be or another one. I mean, we had a seafood one the other day with like salmon on it and some dill.
Yep.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, what was it? We had a smoked duck egg one with bacon. Like, it's been so many now, I can't even remember all of them. But like, yeah.
This one was chicken egg, but we do have enough duck eggs. I might send you home with some.
I've actually been eating duck eggs all week because he sent me home some last week.
Oh! I forgot about that.
So he's probably, are you tired of duck egg, or is that
no?
What's that saying you have, Coy?
Duck eggs are the ultimate in egg technology. Oh. Now I haven't had an egg from every kind of mammal / bird. Like maybe platypus eggs are actually the ultimate egg. I haven't had one at this point, and I feel like it's hard to farm platypus. They've got a stinger.
Yeah,
they're a really weird animal.
They went for like talking about eggs. I think there was like about 8 months ago or something. Did you guys see like the world's most liked picture? That picture of that egg.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
A picture of an egg was the most liked picture.
Yeah, that was
confused.
Yeah, so they had like a contest on I don't know, I think like Instagram or something. A picture of an egg, and they wanted to make that picture the most liked picture on social media, and it happened. And it turned out to be the most commented picture and shared picture too.
Yep, and it's just a plain egg.
It's just a plain egg. And then they made I think 8 photos prior, and like it finally hatched or something. So
now, to be fair, I mean most of it came from the fact that I think it was Kylie Jenner had the most liked photo on the internet, and somebody was like, "Nope, go ahead and like this egg if you don't want Kylie Jenner to have the most liked photo on the internet." And people rallied around it. Yeah.
I was super confused, and then it all came shooting back into focus.
Oh, speaking of focus, I do have one more thing I wanted to talk about before we move into armored lighting. We're getting there, okay? Something that I thought was really cool, and I just saw it today. It just happened this morning, you guys. The Mazda Speed 3 has been one of those weird platforms where people have been trying to make it fast for a long time, a real long time, especially the drag race guys with the Mazda 3s. Breaking the 10s was a big issue a couple of years ago. The first dude into the 10s, it was kind of like the unicorn status. Nobody was able to do it. But Coy, as you know, just about anything, once someone does it,
then everybody can do it.
It's some kind of a mindset thing or something. I don't know, finding the right combination. There's a lot of stuff around it.
Corey Hart does the first backflip on a bike during the X Games, and the next year 9 guys do it.
Exactly.
And I think that's how everything in life is. If you accomplish a goal, there's gonna be other people that now I can do that. So you have to set the bar high for yourself and just go full in.
Exactly. And that's what these guys are doing with these Mazda Speed 3s. Now, the new world record Mazda Speed 3 run is a 9.88 in the quarter mile. Wow. And we've got the video pulled up here. Folks listening on the podcast are going to be able to hear the audio. Go ahead and hit that up, producer Nick.
So we don't have any audio.
Yeah.
But it is a beastie parachuted, silver gray platinum Mazda 3, big fat meats on the front and bicycle tires on the rear.
But this is not a small. This is not a small car.
These are small minivan. I mean,
they're family wagon for sure.
They're big cars, and they're fairly heavy.
I always think it's kind of like a white chick car. Like every white chick needs a Mazda.
Yeah, I mean there is that.
And he hooks up hard. That track has so much sticky on it.
Yeah,
and he rips it off.
That thing is flat moving. There is no doubt about it. Did you have the tab muted? Here, go ahead and pull it up again for us, because I do want the sound on here. There we go. Because this thing flat rips.
Yeah, we're still not getting sound, but there we are. He already did his warm-up burnout, and he's
that baby's boosted.
Wow, I can hear that turbo and nothing else. Wow, that's a big turbo. His exhaust is
straight out the hood,
from my elbow to my longest finger.
That thing hooked up nice.
Yeah. There is so much track bite on that track. It looks like they did the entire track with track bite.
It's shining like an oasis in the, when you're driving along a desert road.
I don't know. I feel a little bit like in drag racing, that's kind of cheating. Like there needs to be a standardized version of track prep. Like, it's only the first 100 feet or something, and you only put so much down every so many runs that go down, something like that. Because, I mean, even here in Oregon, like just if you'd go up to the Portland International Raceway, which isn't a dedicated drag strip, it's a drag strip within a racetrack, and then Woodburn had their own, it's a dedicated drag strip, but Woodburn, people would run like 2/10 faster at Woodburn regularly. Like, you wouldn't go to Portland to get your best time.
Right. Because Portland's not like you said, it's not a prepped drag strip. Woodburn is. Portland is just, they have a little area where they set up a tree and then you just run off into the front straight of PIR, Speaking of, I think we're going to be going to PIR a few times this year. We're going to have to talk about that off air. But, IndyCar is back now. I want to make sure that we're able to go and talk to that.
And there's lots of stadium trucks at IndyCar now.
Yes, they do.
I love IndyCar. I think stadium trucks is my new thing. Like, I could get into this.
Well, so quick plug for a friend of ours, friend of the show, actually, Mike and Jess, and they have kind of a rotating panel. Anyways, the folks over at Pit Lane Parlay, all they do is IndyCar talk, and it's a really, really good show. If anybody listening is strictly into IndyCar, you got to go and check them out because they really do the good coverage. So hopefully we can pair up with them this year as well, and maybe do a little, pod swap.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Portland International Auto Show is, of course, coming up too. Lots of car shows around the area. I feel bad for people that are on my personal Facebook page because they've probably been seeing all of these events like, Andy liked this, so why don't you like it too? And of course, most of the people on my Facebook are food people, so I apologize in advance.
I'm kind of with you. I keep seeing these events, and I'm like, I've kind of overbooked myself because I got an off-road competition navigation thing, and then the following weekend we have a barbecue competition that you're doing that I'm helping you with, and the day before that a Dutch oven competition that I'm doing that you're helping me with, and I don't know how to cook with Dutch ovens, so I got to teach myself how to do that while prepping for this off-road comp within the next 30 days. And then I'm like, I just spend this weekend playing in an airplane hangar, and then like, what should I do? And I'm trying to remodel a kitchen here pretty soon, so I'm like starting to realize I've overbooked myself.
That's never good.
Priorities, Coy.
Yeah.
The pod comes before everything else, remember?
Speaking of pod and things that come before everything else, give me some tasting notes on your Mercote there.
I'm just going to flat out say it. This whiskey is not going to be for everybody. I think it's going to be for most.
Is this whiskey or shine?
Well, it's barrel-aged shine, basically. So it's 100% corn, all right? And that's the thing. Like, corn distillate is a little bit sweeter, a little bit more citric. They have a filtration process that is proprietary. So you have different notes coming off of their straight shine. They definitely don't want to call it a vodka because, there aren't any adductors in their process. So like, I'm going to use Vivacity Spirits as an example in Corvallis. They use limestone and lava rock in addition to activated charcoal to filter their distillate, okay? But the limestone is more of an adductor than it is an abductor. So it's actually
adds flavor and sweetness.
It's actually adding, more mineral just stuff. And as a result, their vodka is probably one of the best on the market. Now, I'm not going to call their shine, they're just straight shine vodka, but if it were a vodka, I think most people would like it. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you here. This coffee I've been drinking has a liberal pinch of seasoning from this copper moonshine.
A smidge and a skosh.
Yeah. And it paired well with coffee. Very well.
I bet it did. Pleased. It pairs very well with my tongue.
And then I had some here in this cup with some ice. The ice has melted, so to be fair, it's watered down a little. And you know what kind of a wuss I am with my alcohols?
Yes.
I like them sweet, and I like them diluted with like sodas and coffees and and everything else. I'm loving this just straight up with ice.
Wow.
I'm loving this. And I usually don't like corn, like corn whiskeys and stuff, but this is, I don't know what it is with me and Marcotte, but like everything they make, I'm just like, wow, this is so good. Like I've yet to be disappointed with this stuff.
It's the craziest thing. They're next level. They are next level.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Listen, there's a reason why every time they do their cocktail Saturdays, they sell between 60 and 100 bottles just that day. You know, I mean, they're just good, and there's no denying it. You know what I mean? All right, enough of all of this stuff, Coy. On to the main event. The reason why Devin is here, my friend. You doing okay? Any potty break or anything?
I'm doing excellent. This is awesome to be here, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. I'm really glad that you could do it. And, of course, like we said before, you're kind of a 20-year-old entrepreneur, and we're all very impressed, and we appreciate that someone like you is doing this type of business in this area, quite frankly. I'm always glad to see people who are really making a business succeed in the Willamette Valley and some of these smaller communities. So enough of that.
Especially in the like online, when you said like around the area, especially on the online like side, like e-commerce, online sales. It's very hard to find someone like around here that does it. So for me, it's really nice to affiliate yourself with people that do it. So social media has come in the fact in that, and you know, there's not very many people around here that do the same niche type of work I do. So I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs through social media and that way. So
I'm not gonna lie, I find it almost like super annoying when young people are successful. It's like when somebody who've lost their legs in a horrible accident then run like a half marathon and they like break the record, and you're like, all right, show off. I get it. Like, I'm fat and I can't run any marathons, and you're beating. You know what? You're doing it better with no legs. Okay, show off.
I don't think age is an issue here. I think anybody in this room right here can be successful.
I think it's drive.
And just, you know, having the end goal and just going for it, and, you know, never looking back, never having fear, and just, you know, self-confidence in yourself and what you do. I think that's huge.
Yeah, I've noticed guys that are successful in any kind of business just drive and then just betting on themselves hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's like betting everything on themselves.
You came, my parents own a bakery in Staten, and Coy was actually there yesterday for the Customer Appreciation Day, and there was a lot of people that showed up. Like, I did actually a lot of the advertising for that, and I think we had
1,400 cupcakes, or not cupcakes,
1,500 cinnamon rolls, and we got rid of almost, I think we had like 100 left or something.
Wow.
I heard 1,300 slices of cake were sold.
Yeah, 1,300 slices of cake.
And is this Leaven Oven?
This is the Leaven Oven, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
So, yeah, that was super cool.
That's on top of their regular business.
Yeah,
like this wasn't this event was one day thing, but their business as usual. Like it's not just like, oh, we're having a big shindig here. Like business was still ongoing.
I was actually going. I totally forgot now thinking about that. I was going to bring you guys cinnamon rolls because we had some left over.
Man,
I'm sorry,
Coy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I ate them.
Coy already had yours. I was like, them to you.
Yeah. And then I bought some cake slices as well, which I ate in bed this morning.
Boy, you had quite a day.
Oh, it's been
airplanes, cake. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, no, it was,
working on the pod, man.
Yeah, no, it's been a good day. My children weren't up, and I wanted to eat cake, so I had to.
Perfect.
You know, if I would have went into the living room and opened that thing of cake, like they would have been there. I would have got to eat like 2 bites of that thing.
Actually, what's kind of funny is my dad's bakery is actually right across the street from a weed shop, and people have told him before, like, you need to change your name from the Leaven Oven to like Munchies.
Has he got a lot of business coming across from there?
I think he does. Like,
he has to.
He has to. I mean, I'm not there every day, so I don't really know, but I guarantee you he gets business from there.
I don't know. Like, I'm not in the cannabis retail market, obviously, and I don't partake myself, but I feel like a lot of the smoking of said product isn't done at the shop.
Yeah.
They're buying it and then leaving it, going home, smoking it, and then making a 7-Eleven or Circle K run for some fun.
So, Coy, let me explain this to you, okay? You know what a beer run is, right?
Yeah.
Are you going on a beer run when you're sober, or when you've already had a few and you're like, we're out, I have to go and get more? most people.
I'm so going to crap on your point if you force me to answer this.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I'm talking. No, never mind. I know that Coy can crap on my point if he wants to because he's Coy. That's what he does. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is basically anyone that I've ever seen go into the dispensary, if I've been parked around or if I've been in the dispensary,
they're high when they're going in. Is what you're
extraordinarily
saying.
High. I've never met anybody in there that was just like boop-a-boo. Oh yeah, I think I'll look at this. I mean, I'm the only person that seems to have any cognition. Everybody else that walks in is just like, dude.
Well, did you hear about that? It was like a long time ago, right when like the cannabis like places started opening up.
Mm-hmm.
The girl with the Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
She like sold those out in front of that one place. That was like insane. Like
they deemed her a cheater for that. I think
that was marketing genius.
Mm-hmm.
Like she had it going on. I mean, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think she had like probably max sales out of like Girl Scout cookies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my only point is I think that most people going into the dispensaries around here already have the munchies. That's my point.
I see what you're saying. I just think in my own head, like when I'm setting up a drinking afternoon,
mm-hmm.
and you're usually there, like we're setting up where we buy the
that's
meat,
because
like,
you're responsible. You're a responsible adult. This is not the type of people that we're talking about right now.
Well, I'm just thinking like these are an event for me. So if I'm planning on drinking and barbecuing and stuff, I line it up. Like I'm like, all right, we're gonna have some beers. I want some selections. What kind do you like? Like, and then I have way too much usually, and like I still have booze left over now from the last
like
time we
a
did that.
normal, responsible adult. Okay, this is not the demographic that we're talking about right now.
Okay.
It's all good.
It is the demographic though that tends to buy your lights. Am I wrong?
It is. You know.
I want you to kind of take us on like when you thought of this idea and kind of walk us through the trials and tribulations.
Oh man,
of this.
Because I want to see where I screwed up my life.
Oh man,
and I want to preface this. So you come up with a light idea. You found a manufacturer overseas to manufacture lights for you, to kind of your specs.
Do you want me to like just say how I started and just go through the whole process, or
it's
gonna be kind of long.
You know, just do the half-hour version, and just so people know, like you're not designing lights per se, but you're importing them to your specs basically, and you're finding someone who can supply you with a quality light to your specs. And kind of the trials of doing that with the overseas manufacturing and trying to get a quality product and keeping your manufacturer, and kind of just move us through this whole experience.
Yeah, let's get started. So I've owned.
I remember a light. I'm being born. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was probably I was about 18 years old. Went on a trip up to Canada, and I was staying at a friend's house, and he was just starting out. He was like selling a whole bunch of like light bars just on the side, and I kind of was like interested in it, and he didn't really know why I was interested in like the light bars, but I kind of asked him a little bit about it, and he told me about the manufacturer, and he said he got them shipped in from China, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Never heard of it before. So he gave me his manufacturer's information. I went home, looked up that manufacturer, actually got you can buy you can get like test samples. So I bought a test sample from China, got it here, and I was like, wow, this stuff is like crap. Like,
I bet you're really glad you didn't name the company Corona Lights, by the way.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
Yeah.
Like Corona, no comment.
Because it kind of would have fit, but anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. So got those lights in, and I was like, there's got to be better lights out there. I kind of went into the market, and then I needed to start looking at like other companies of like how they were doing things. If you go like Rigid Industries, you go like KC Highlights, you go a lot of the major, Baja Designs. Baja Designs gets most of their lights made here in the U.S. They get some of their components shipped in. Rigid, and I know KC gets most of theirs made all in China.
Right.
Rigid gets a lot of theirs made in China too. Most of their assembly here in the U.S. So they can say they're assembled in the U.S. I don't really know the percentage of that, but there's like a certain percentage that you can do that's actually, you can say that's made in the U.S. So
I see.
I don't really know the percentage on that, but Yeah, so I kind of did some research on them, and I actually found the same manufacturer as, KC Highlights. KC Highlights is actually getting the same manufacturer as me on some of their lights. And Rigid also, it wasn't really the same manufacturer as Rigid, but they get like the housings made at the same place, both these companies. So it's very hard to find a manufacturer in China that's good.
I bet.
I mean, it's a pain in the butt. And then trying to stay with that manufacturer, minimum order quantities. You got to come in with a lot of money. But yeah, that's, and if you guys have any questions, speak up, and, I open the questions if I'm rattling here too fast.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And I think that a lot of people are going to appreciate hearing this, by the way, because, a lot of our listenership is people who want to do this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
And this can be applied to, any business, not just lights. I mean, if you're wanting to open your own grill company, I guarantee you Weber, I'm not really sure about like Traeger. I don't know where Traeger gets theirs made. Probably here in the U.S., I'm sure.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No. They sold like 7 years ago.
I guarantee you, like, if you're getting into like the barbecue industry, you want to try like making your own like barbecue, or you like something in the barbecue industry, it's same way of finding a manufacturer in China. So.
I got it, Coy. Corona grills.
There you go.
Done and done.
I think we need to make just lighters and just call them Corona lighters.
I could do that.
Special grill lighters.
Yeah, Corona lighters. I like that.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to do the lights in the first place, though? Did you see a need in the market?
I learned a lot in the last 2 years. It was sort of like, almost like, I thought that this would be cool. Like, this would be cool to do this, cool lifestyle. If I can get this rocking, this is going to be awesome. That was kind of my first initial drive. And then it kind of went into, how can I help out the market? How can I do like price point wise? And just keeping, a quality product at a low cost for the consumer. Because after looking at like a lot of these companies like KC Highlights, you have Black Oak, you have some of these other, bigger companies. They're getting, stuff shipped in from China, and they're just having a 10x, return on, they're just marking their stuff way up.
Right.
Let's say they buy a light for, $40, they're charging like $250 to the customer. Like, look at the profit margin on that. Like, I seen like huge potential of like, why would a company do that? And I kind of went into I was like, they're doing that so they make more money, but they're also doing that so it doesn't look like a cheap product.
It's a perceived quality.
It's a perceived quality, and that's huge in the off-road industry. Is everyone is like, oh, if I spend like, $1,500 on a light bar, it's going to be a way better light bar. Well, what they don't know is a lot of these people have the same manufacturer. They are just have a way bigger price point. And
I see.
That's just where it comes down to is, a lot of people have the same quality. It's just, I don't know. I kind of went around in a circle there. But
they
it's
built,
good.
like, say, KC Highlights. They've built a name for years. At one point, KC
they can charge whatever they want.
KC was the only name. Like, we all know what a KC light is. Aircraft landing light.
The big smiley face.
We know the KC smiley face. The yellow cover. The black cover that says KC. The emblem. So then when LEDs come out and they start to sell a bar, they can charge whatever they want because they're KC.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, they have a 25-year warranty, but so does honestly, at this point, a 25-year warranty that KC has with the receipt is one of the worst warranties. Almost everybody else has an unlimited lifetime.
You got to think too, is, a lot of companies, like when I went to the warranty stage is, I fully believe in my lights. Like, I know what they're capable of. And so I put a lifetime limited warranty on them. But you got to also think in the consumer's hands, for a warranty issue on that is, if somebody, it only passes, it's only for the person that bought that light. So a person usually only has their rig, I think it's for like 5 to 7 years or something. And then they switch switch vehicles. A lot of people sell that light with that vehicle. So,
sure.
it's a limited lifetime warranty still. And if I'm the type of person, if that person that buys that truck, I'm still going to warranty that light bar out. Like I trust my product 100% that it won't even, go out. So,
yeah.
But yeah, going back to, sort of the initial startup phase, I just seen a big potential of, actually it was Black Oak LED that I kind of, seen what they were doing, found their manufacturer and went after, like they had a light bar, let's say, they're importing, I forget what it was, but I actually got kicked out of that manufacturer, but I'll touch on that a little bit. Me and Black Oak were kind of competing there for a little while. I found their product about 2 years ago when I was starting out, and then I found their manufacturer, and I then went in, touched base with that manufacturer, got everything set up, changed specs on some stuff. We wanted to be like better lights, like LEDs in there, did some stuff like that, and then got that imported to me, which takes a while. That's a 3 to 4 month process to get, branding set up, get everything, that's a big process.
At a considerable investment by you, I assume.
Oh, yeah. My first initial setup wasn't, that expensive. I think my first order of lights was in about the $10,000 range. That was the first initial setup bringing in.
This isn't your first business, I assume.
This is my first business.
It is. Yeah. It is. So you were fronting your own personal money for this.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Boy, that is a confidence level that I don't think a lot of people have, quite frankly.
But it's, you got to just go full in, and it's, if I would have lost 10, it's just money at the end of the day. I mean,
Coy,
you can run.
Is it just money?
Yeah.
Hey, Coy has a lot of it, so
Here's the thing.
I don't know that I have a lot of it, but I don't do anything to really lose it.
Yeah.
I don't take risks, so
what Coy said,
I trade my physical labor and time in exchange for it, whereas you bet on yourself for it.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just selling little portions of my life essence, whereas you're buying portions of other people's life essence, Chinese immigrants or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well,
I hear your quality is much higher because the workers are 16 instead of 12. So good on you.
Hey, thank you.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's actually a saying that Coy and I have. You rolled the dice and bet it all on yourself, and it came up deuces. So it honestly seems like anybody we talk to that lives their life this way, Coy, back me up. If we talk to a single person that's been like, oh yeah, I failed miserably at all kinds of stuff. Pretty much.
Well, I have some, but to be fair, when you talk to those people I tried this and it didn't work out, you were sitting on the outside going, he'll never do, that's not going to work.
Yeah. But they were trying something.
Yeah.
I guess that's my whole point. It's like at a certain point, that's the whole reason why we started doing the podcast in the first place. I mean, this is kind of me doing that. It was more just, this was practically a therapy for me, but here we are. We're making a little bit of money. Thank you, Gem City Fine Foods. Find them at gemcityfinefoods.com. Anyways, please continue. This is a fascinating thing, by the way.
Yeah,
your branding and everything. I assume that you had logos made up.
Oh, yeah.
You had a website you were thinking about.
So we can touch base on that too. Is if you're looking for a logo, what I use is you can spend $5 on Fiverr.com for a logo, or you can go to Upwork. You can go Upwork.com. You can go, you can hire freelancers in Indonesia, or I didn't say that right probably, but
Indonesia.
Yeah. You can hire them anywhere over the world.
Yeah.
And for cheap, because a lot of those people over there, they have talent, but in actual, you only pay them $2 an hour or something. That seems really bad. And I'm not the type of person to do that. I'll they say $2 an hour, I'll give them $5. And
right.
they're rolling in the dough over there. They're known as superior. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so I got the first lights in, launched a website, which took a little while. I run through Shopify.com. It's a good e-com e-commerce website. You can get it's a good website for online sales.
Yeah.
So I got that going. I took product photos. Actually, I did not take product photos at first, and my supplier over there actually like gave me their product photos. They took them, and I was using like the same housings and everything as like black oak LED. And I got them here. I launched my website, and started marketing on Google. And Google, I don't know if you know any about Google advertising, but Google advertising text ads. You can go after like specific keywords.
Right.
So let's just say, 20-inch LED light bar. That is a search term that people would search on, Google. So if you are going to, advertise in that search term, you would, put that in I would make an ad like, the best 20-inch LED light bar, free shipping in the USA. And then I would have like a text, little bit of like description below that ad. So when they search that term, they would click it. Anyways, that's just a lot of my nerd analytics side of me. But
hey, that's what it takes these days.
Yeah,
by the way,
it's crazy what you can learn if you just get in and just learn it. So yeah, so I launched it took me, I think my first couple sales. It's a very competitive niche, light bars. It's a flooded market. China has come in and undercut the market a lot because they sell a lot of Chinese manufacturers. They sell U.S. direct, so they would just drop ship from China, and you can't compete with a manufacturer in China. And I needed to touch base on that. There's difference in quality in China. Like these ones that are selling light bar on Amazon for $20. I mean, it's cool, but I mean, one of my pods that I'm importing, blow it out of the water.
Right. I
mean, so I had actually my friend Nick. He finds a light bar on Amazon. It says like 101,000 like lumens. I'm like, that's insane. So he buys it because it has like 3 rows of LEDs, and he's like, it's 700 watt or something. I was like, no. He buys it, he brings it here, and I'm like, this is too good to be true. So I hook up a pair of the pods that I sell, and these are little like 2x2 pods, and it is brighter than his 40-inch like double row light bar, and he was like starstruck. His jaw just like dropped, and I don't think I've ever seen him turn that light bar on ever again. But yeah, so
that is totally that perceived quality thing, 100%. And it I don't know, the marketing, the super cheap stuff. You're never going to get away from the people that want that just ridiculously cheap thing. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, oh, this light bar is $15 on Amazon. I just have to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah. And personally, I mean, this might sound bad, but I don't want those customers.
Right.
Because I have already hit like the low end market. I tried that, and just to see what it would happen. That brings you a total different type of clientele. That's a clientele you don't want to deal with because all they do is complain.
Right.
So you got to find that niche and what you get it. But anyways, when I launched advertising, I spent, I think, like $500 on advertising to get my first sale. That was $500 to even make a sale. That's, I mean, a lot of people would be scared about that. They're like, whoa. But you get that all lined out. I think now I'm spending, it's roughly about like $35 to like $50 per sale, which is still a lot, but it's all about online sales. You're going to have that advertising cost.
Right.
But after I got launched on, Google, got rocking, I was marketing right up there with, Black Oak, actually ahead of them because I was spending more than them, but I was spending more on them, but a less price. Like they would, let's say, they're selling a light bar for like $900. I'm selling one for like $380. So same exact light bar, by the way, same exact light bar. And it's crazy as people, I would, advertising website to website, and people would click theirs and they go up and click mine, and I'd make that sale because it's the same exact thing. And so they seen what I was doing, and they sent a lawyer my way about 8 months in. And, it's more of just a, threat to try kicking me out.
Right.
Trying to scare me.
To dissuade you.
Yeah. So it's kind of a trade, everyone does it,
Yeah.
So that happened, and they actually finally, that whole thing went through, and I hired a lawyer, and we figured that out. But they actually kicked me out of my manufacturer at the end of that deal. So that was horrible. Like, I had everything set up, starting to make sales, starting to gain traction, got kicked out of that manufacturer.
Because they were selling a higher quantity. They called their manufacturer and said, we're not going to buy from you unless you bounce this guy.
That is exactly right. And that's what sucks to be the smaller guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're talking, they do, they're upwards to 7 figures in sales. I mean, they're huge.
I was actually going to ask you, were you in the green at that point?
So in the green, as in, explain on that a little bit.
Oh, I mean, sorry, not in the green, but like, were you in the black? Were you making money?
Yeah, I was making money at that time. And that's what really made me upset is I wasn't making enough to be in the order quantity as them. Because, their marketing campaign, $40,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only, I was at the point of like $5,000 a month, in ad spend. So they still had me beat in order quantity, and they already had 3 years on branding on me. So it was a tough one. And
what it reminds me of is there's this blog that I check out once in a while, and it's pretty fascinating stuff. This guy tries all kinds of different entrepreneurial things, and always seems to make money at it. He's got the kind of head that you do. But one that I found really fascinating was the t-shirt one. And he talked about how he tried a ton of different t-shirt designs, and he was about 10,000 into it too before he started making any sales. But he spent a year doing it. During the course of the year, he made $150,000. He spent $50,000 of that during the year in ads.
Oh yeah.
So 1/3 of his budget was spent towards. I mean, listen. A lot of people would look at that and go, 50,000 in Facebook ads, there's no way I'm doing that. But they're ignoring the fact that he made 100,000.
Yeah.
So it's
now minus, let's say minus t-shirts, cost per advertising, like you said, 50,000. He probably made about 40,000 profit, maybe 45,000 profit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about that, I mean, that's not like insane, but that's pretty good. I mean,
yeah, especially like you're using Shopify, something like that. Like our Teespring store, for example. Coy, go ahead and show them the shirt. This is one of my favorites, the Thank You for Smoking.
Thank you for smoking. And then it's got the barbecue. People always read that and then laugh. I get a lot of compliments.
That's just on teespring.com. You can literally search Boost Booze and BBQ on Teespring. It'll come up with ours. We haven't done any advertising. We still sell a few shirts here and there. It's just something that we have, a little merch for the show.
That's awesome.
But it's one of those things where this stuff is so accessible to people, but the access doesn't equate to success. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to fast forward here.
Yeah.
Because now you're here. We've got armored lighting. You are turning over tons of units. You've got lots of buzz online. What is your favorite product right now? Or should I say, what is your customer's favorite product that they're selling? Producer Nick, would you go ahead and pull his website up for us?
So yeah, right now I'm actually got hit really hard over Christmas. But probably hit
really hard as in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Pull down the LED light bars.
So obviously, I think right now you need to do like a tax return special.
So I only got like 2 light bars up for sale right now because I'm like,
you got cleaned out.
I got cleaned out.
Wow.
And so yeah, actually those pictures are taken out of a guy, Chris Daly, he lives in Cornelius, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool guy, and he does really excellent work with photography.
I actually follow him on social media. He's got, you're right. He's an amazing photographer.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's the light bar itself right there. We can go through some of the photos there if you scroll down a little bit, and you can kind of see a little bit in depth of what it is. And
that's a 50-inch bar.
That's a 50-inch bar there.
Now, 300 watts, is that the equivalent, or is that actually what's going to those LEDs?
So that's actually what's going to those LEDs.
Whoa. Because isn't the LED output like 10 to 1 of what we're used to with watts? So like the lights we use in the studio, they're a 7-watt light, but they output about the same as a 70-watt incandescent bulb.
Yeah. So it's kind of very hard on that, and that's the point where I'm trying to learn a little bit more about that. It's hard. Like you have to almost have like an electrical like background on you, and that's where like my manufacturer comes into place.
I see.
They help me out a lot with that, and I haven't got to the point where I can like hire someone yet for that. But that's a good point there. But yeah, so my biggest selling light bar on the site is going to be the 20-inch. 20-inch fits most on the bumpers, bull bars, stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely going to be what it is. And I'm actually out of stock on the 20-inch.
Is it on your website still? It just says out of stock?
No,
or no?
I've took them off actually.
Oh wow!
I get like I was getting so many people that like message me, and I'm actually why there isn't anything up there right now is like 20-inch. I would have kept them on there, but I'm actually in the process of doing another rebrand right now because I just got kicked out of like this series of light bars again.
What?
Yeah, this is my second time in about a year. Actually, like 1 year, I got kicked out twice.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's a hard one to deal with.
Well, yeah, I mean the manufacturers that are out there.
Now the good ones. There's a lot of like bad ones that they won't kick you out, but yeah.
So tell us about like this is something that I think maybe a lot of our listeners either interested in or need to learn about because they have bad etiquette about this. How often are you getting hit up for sponsors? Like how many people are like, "Hey, bro, give me a light bar."
Let's go over this a little bit.
And then I want to go on top of that more. I know you have given light bars. Like, what do you? If I were to go, not necessarily you, but if I'm say I want to get some free stuff, I got a cool rig. I think I should be able to get free stuff. What as a manufacturer or a seller are you looking for when I write you a letter? Like, what's going to convince you to give me free stuff?
Okay, here you go. So this is about 80% of them. I have a 1980 Toyota Tacoma on like 40s, and I'm like 18. I don't have enough money to buy a light bar. And will you sponsor my rig? So I mean, it's cool they're reaching out. Like, work harder. You're eventually going to get there. But probably the biggest thing is you need to bring value. The value is huge. If you're like promotion and you're doing a lot of local events, your YouTube channel is huge for me because a lot of people actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I think it's like 80 or 90% of people, like especially the off-road industry, they will actually research the product on YouTube. So they'll go, armored lighting. I might hit them with the ad. They'll go to armored lighting, then they'll jump over to YouTube and search armored lighting. So I specifically target, a lot of known YouTubers. I think about 3 people on YouTube, actually 3 famous people that have did reviews. And that turned out really well. But yeah, I think over the overall sponsorship thing is if you just bring value, you have a nice truck, and you aren't asking for free stuff.
Right.
Because that's a turnoff. Like, if somebody comes to me and they ask for just like free stuff right away for shout outs, that's a no-go for me, because if they really want to help out a company, they need to proceed value to me as a company, and then
So if I'm writing a letter, I say I want a toe strap. We're just gonna
let's do toe strap.
Let's do a toe strap. I write this company. What I should be saying is not, "Hey, I'm cool. You should give me a free toe strap." I should say, "Here's what's going on. I want to bring you more sales. And if I had your toe strap, this is how I would bring you more sales."
Down that line, it would be amazing. Like, saying like, let's say you have a YouTube channel and, you're doing a full like install video, install video, you would write a letter saying, really love your light bars. I have this many like followers on YouTube. I want to do a review of your light bar on YouTube, an unboxing and install video. And then even do like don't ever say like a free product. I think like saying, would you guys like give me a discount?
Sure.
Like, that even goes far. Like, because a lot of companies will give a discount, and they'll probably even like just give you the light bar if you come across that way. I don't know. It's kind of, I ignore a lot of them just because it takes a lot of time.
Sure.
I mean, back in the time when I was really pushing social media, I was getting roughly about probably 15 to 20 requests for sponsorships a day. So
whoa,
it was like, no, I wasn't doing it.
All right, so here's a question for you. What would you think about if you had someone who had a relatively good following, but they had their whole shtick was destructive unboxing? Producer Nick is going to know exactly what I'm talking about. There was this guy on YouTube, and I think he was mostly a gamer, but his whole shtick was that he would do destructive unboxing.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
You would like that,
oh,
really?
Yeah, I would totally do
So
it.
you would watch somebody open your package with a Sawzall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Like, that would be super cool, actually. Like, actually, Wrangler Star, he does I'm actually going to try having him do that.
Really?
With one of my lights. My next series that I'm coming up with is actually going to be a round series. And he's actually going to be putting about 4 of those on top of his van. And I want him to send him like an extra one.
Dude, an off-road van?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You don't know who Wrangler Star is?
I am going to have to look him up now.
Sprinter van.
Dude, Coy and I have a thing for off-road vans. You don't even know.
That's awesome.
Well, Andy's thing is more like an A-team, like 4-wheel drive Chevy van. This is like a Sprinter camper van.
No, I want a 4-wheel drive camper van.
Yeah, no, I know you're down with that, but like my
you mean the
my boner?
Yeah.
Is for these like 80s camper vans.
Yes, that's mine too. Like my choice would be, I don't know, an E250 or an E350 that's on a F350 4x4 chassis. Anyways, please continue about this round series of lights.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the round series of lights coming in is actually going to be some of the... There's actually not very many people that sell round lights out there, especially ones that have like a good design on them. And I think that's where it came down to is in the industry of where, looking good. People want stuff that looks good on their rig now. They don't care of just like light bars were cool about like 7 years ago when they came out, or like up until like 2 years ago, people were just like, put a light bar on there, cool, extra light. But now it's came down to, design. People want something that looks nice. There's nicer vehicles coming out. Economy's going better. People don't want something that looks trashy on their vehicle.
For sure.
I actually just had somebody actually in Washington that just bought a 50-inch light bar for their box car. Like, I don't know how they're going to like mount that, but
like a train boxcar?
Not a boxcar, but is it like the little square what's like the square like XB?
Scion XB, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't a Scion XB. It was
but it's going to be like a Kia Soul, or it's going to be one of those. I don't know.
It was one of those, and she had like already like I guess she told me that she had like solar panels on top. Like this is like some overlanding.
Is it a Grumman mail truck? Maybe.
I have no clue. I think she's from like San Francisco.
Okay. Now, this is starting to make more sense. Yeah. Okay.
I run into a lot of wild installs and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, probably one of the wildest was a guy actually was using my lights for a cabin that he had up. Like I think it was in Colorado. He had no electricity, and he was just going to run like a pair of my pods inside of his cabin, the Diffuse series. So just ran off a 12-volt battery. So that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense, actually, because the LEDs use so much less power.
Yeah. And there was a heat issue that I was kind of, because there's not going to be really no airflow in there.
Right.
But he wasn't going to keep them on that long, so it didn't really matter.
Well, if it was in a cabin up in the woods, too, I imagine
it's going to be kind of cold.
Yeah. That's a really interesting point, too, because these LEDs, because they're drawing less, I mean, obviously the housing is creating heat, but I would assume you'd be able to leave these things on for a while and not drain your battery dead.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I could leave, a 20-inch light bar on all night and still start on my pickup. So they don't pull that much.
Yeah. Man, this is just fascinating. We have to wrap it up because we've run long on this one, but we could go forever and ever. We have to have you back on at some point, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's, one more time, let us know where people can find you and what you're doing.
Yeah, so my name is Devin Schultz. I'm the owner of Armored Lighting, and you can purchase my products at armoredlighting.com. And you can find me on Facebook at Armored Lighting 2. And if you have any questions, just contact me.
That's just at Armored Lighting, right?
That's just at Armored Lighting across all social media platforms. I
love that, man. That's very cool. And Coy, I don't think you're doing a whole lot on social media right now, are you?
No, I'm what's it? Stalking?
Stalking, yes, yes.
We're going to change that, Coy.
I watch a lot of social media.
You're a lurker.
Lurker, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one place that
long-time
does
listener,
have
no-time caller.
One place that does have a fantastic presence online, and I want to give them a shout out, is Gem City Fine Foods. They are a dedicated gluten-free and nut-free bakery based in Utah, you guys. And so if you have a gluten allergy, if you've got like celiacs, you know, where the gluten allergy is real serious, you could die from this, you have to go and check out Gem City Fine Foods, because not only is it just... Here's the hard part. When I talk about Gem City Fine Foods, okay, they are so good. And besides the fact that they're gluten-free, it's easy for me to say they're the best gluten-free dessert I've ever had. They're one of the best desserts I've ever had. I'm not going to try to insult you with the Love and Oven.
Yeah, let me actually say something like this. So through the Love and Oven, my parents do nothing gluten-free. And there is huge potential out there. And I'm actually kind of glad that that company is doing that, because... we have I actually run the social media, and I see people all the time, like, are these gluten-free, or like, you know, maybe that's something, you know, we can pawn on to them or something, you know.
It would be nice. Yeah. You could just tell them, you know, if you're looking for something gluten-free.
This is a cool bakery.
And shipped right to your door.
Yeah,
it's gemcityfinefoods.com. Be gluten-free, just a B, the letter B, gluten-free. Is their @ on Instagram. I believe they're at Gem City Fine Foods on Facebook. Either way, you can find them at gemcityfinefoods.com. Go and check them out. They are a wonderful sponsor of the show. We couldn't do it without them, and we couldn't do it without you guys at home tuning in and telling a friend, and we sure do appreciate that. Make sure that you are answering that question of the week, by the way. Win yourself a shirt. Show that off one more time, Coy.
Try to get this.
I just love this shirt. I just love this shirt. This is one of my favorites.
Thank you for smoking.
That's right. We had L.C. Brown.
Smokers don't get thanked enough.
That's right. When the doctor says, do you smoke? Chicken, pork, brisket, whatever.
Hell yeah.
We've had L.C. Brown win a shirt. We had Tony Barthol win a shirt. You could be next. Make sure that you're answering that question.
And that question for this week is, do you taste peanut butter at the end of Jim Beam?
That's right.
Does it finish strong with a peanut butter?
I say it is. Coy says it doesn't. We want to hear from you guys. So I look forward to those responses. I look forward to talking to each and every one of you. And I want to thank you guys one more time. Coy, thanks for being here.
Andy?
I appreciate you, man. We're going to go ahead and get this outro going. Coy, boom, put it there. Devin,
boom,
boom, in the air. Producer Nick, thanks so much, my friend. Jake the intern, I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know, hopefully we see him next week.
I'm gonna call him. It's getting ridiculous.
Thanks for having me.
I know. All right. Thanks so much, you guys, for listening. Thank you, Devin, for being here. And we will see you next time.